Hello, welcome to 8 Ways to Wellness. Discover the dimensions for a healthier you, focused on social well-being today. My name is Heather Quackenboss. I am the Extension Educator in La Crosse County and happy to be with you here today. The first thing that I'd actually like you to do is think about your favorite dessert. And probably for a lot of you it comes to mind right away. And for those of you who don't like dessert, pick your favorite salty snack. I know there's those folks out there who are not so sweet, are a little more savory, which is fine. Pick your favorite savory dish. Frankly, me, it's anything chocolate. A good chocolate cake with a nice chocolate frosting, some vanilla ice cream, maybe some hot fudge is what I probably would go for if I had the choice. See, a lot of times when we talk social well-being, we start with meals and we start with breaking bread together. And a lot of times food brings us together when we're talking social well-being. So just having that in mind as we start today will help us as we learn how we connect best. So the 8 Dimensions of Wellness is a program that we do at Extension, focusing on all 8 aspects and dimensions of wellness. And we all do well and could use some work in every single one of these dimensions. And ideally, we would harmonize these dimensions together. We have some financial, some physical, some environmental, some spiritual, some of each. Sometimes there's those dimensions we might feel we need to work on a little bit more. Sometimes we're really good at a couple dimensions and maybe not so good at others. All of that is fine. We're offering you ways to look at all of your dimensions of wellness, see what fits you the best, so what you decide to work on or flourish in, as well as, ooh, hey, maybe here's some things I can do if I so choose to really work on one of these dimensions or multiples of them to try to get a different or better harmony. Today, we're really going to be working on the social aspects, so developing a sense of connection, belonging, and a well-developed support system. So our objectives, we're going to build some self-awareness of our own preferences to social connection. What do we like? It's honestly not how we need to fit, it's what fits us to fill our bucket when we're looking at being social and connecting with others. Recognizing and acknowledging our perceptions, our vulnerabilities, and our readiness for social connection. Some days we want to meet people and other days we don't want to people at all. And it's really good to recognize and acknowledge that. And let's learn and practice some skills to effectively communicate, to connect. Not just to be with people, but to really connect with folks. These first 2 pictures that you see, probably one of them is going to resonate with you a little bit more than the other. The picture on that left is 2 people talking to each other, connecting, maybe at a little bit deeper level, maybe diving into different philosophies, maybe really talking about some deep things, just being together one-on-one. For some of us, whew, yeah, that's what I want to do. For others, it's like, ooh, that seems a little too vulnerable. I'm not sure about that. For some of us, it's like, okay, I can do that. Then you have the picture on the right where there's a group of folks. And after this last year, we may be not as used to that, or maybe that's what we notice we're very much missing, to be with a group of people and all kinds of different ideas and socializing and maybe gatherings or festivals or events, and we get to meet all kinds of people and learn all kinds of different things. For some of us, we're like, yeah, I want to do that and see all the people and places and learn different things. And for others, we're like, ooh, no, that looks like way too people again. I don't want to do that. What's important is to know what you prefer. What fills you when you are looking at connecting? That, for you, is probably what you're going to do to connect the best. Another thing that we can look at is our core values. Now, we hear about values a lot. We're like, oh yeah, I have values, I have morals, I have these things that lead and guide me. If I were to ask you though, what is your one core value? Which one of those resonates? Now on the screen, there's a bunch of them: connection, authenticity, adventure, courage, harmony, compassion, competence, achievement, belonging, usefulness, equity. This is not an exhaustive list. If I were to ask you, and if you were to write down right now, what is the one core value that you try to guide what you do by, how you live your life, how you connect, what would that be? For me, in all honesty, and maybe not a surprise, I try to have my core value most of the time be connection. I can pick 5 or 6 here. I also know if I pick 5 or 6, I might be all over, and I'm not necessarily then focused on what I really want as what's important to me. So frankly, I pick connection. So for me, that means after work, I shut my computer. I leave my space and I connect then with my family, to give them that undivided attention, to do activities that we can do together where I'm not maybe thinking of something else. Sometimes it means listening authentically to what my family might be talking about, even if I'm not so interested, because that connection for me is important. So think about, how is that value that you have important with how you connect to others, also with how you maybe choose not to connect with others, and what that looks like every day. Now, another way that we connect with folks is through the activities that we really enjoy. So think about what it is that you enjoy and appreciate and want to do or find yourself doing when you have time. Are you an outdoors person? Are you an exerciser and somebody who's more physical? Are you more of a games type of person, or puzzles, or maybe the one-on-one card games or the group card games? Are you an artist? Do you paint? Do you sculpt? Do you draw? Do you do other art forms? Do you enjoy cooking? Are you a reader? Do you enjoy photography or travel or doing different things? A lot of times we also meet other folks who we connect with, and we're just like, snap, we're connected through the activities we enjoy. When I can and preserve food, I have some friends who do that, and we get together and can together because it goes faster and we enjoy it, and we're all doing the same thing. Whether you dance or walk or bike ride or have book groups, those are different things that we can do where we connect with folks. Now, sometimes what happens is we have friends who match our values. And we also might have friends that share our activities. Sometimes those are the same. Sometimes those are different, and that's okay. Having a variety of different social connections really can help us in all of the different situations we find ourselves in life. So, how do you prefer to connect with other people? What do you value, particularly when you connect with others? And what is it that you like to do? All of those things can really show us what our preferences are and what fits us the best when we're looking at connecting with others socially. One of the things that we found in positive psychology is that the social connections that we have as we get older actually predict our happiness and our well-being as we age. So having what fits us and what suits us and what's good for us is actually really important. So if you would like, you can pause the video right now and answer the questions. How do you prefer to connect with other people? What do I value so that I connect? And what do I enjoy doing? Are there ways to connect by doing the activities that I enjoy? As we move on then, we realize that all of those things that we just maybe wrote down or thought about a little bit are kind of diverse. We all come from different backgrounds. Our education, our lifestyles, our values, what we enjoy is all different. And to truly connect with someone else, it's really actually important to realize that everyone else comes from a different background than we do. Now, this beautiful rhinoceros here is painting lovely landscapes. And in every single one of their landscapes, their horn is in the picture. Folks, we all have that rhinoceros horn. Our life, our experience, our education, what we do, what we love is our rhinoceros horn. And so often we can get stuck in thinking that every single other person ever has that same rhinoceros horn as we do. And everyone has something a little different. So when we look at our connections, when we look at meeting other people, or even just maintaining those friendships that we have, that perspective is really important, to know that we all have different perceptions and that we all have different experiences and that we're not always going to be very happy and rosy together. We will go through different changes and struggles and conflicts, and that's okay. Because the other thing is, as we get to know other people, we're going to find some similarities, we're going to find some differences. And in truly being able to connect, we're going to have to maybe try something new. And honestly, trying something new can be so scary. Stepping into that new thing can bring a lot of fear. Now, this comfort versus growth zone here explains this actually pretty well. This is illustrated by Larry Kim, and we're all in our comfort zone. We all know where we're comfortable. We know what we know. We're not learning anything new, but we're just comfortable right here. Kind of like our favorite chair, right? We're always comfortable in our favorite chair, and the other chairs just aren't quite right. When you step out of that comfort zone, we try something new, we meet a new person, we're maybe going to learn a new activity, we go right into that fear zone. And we don't have confidence, we find excuses to not do it, and we're affected by other people's opinions. Think about any time maybe that you tried a new exercise routine. Those excuses, oh, the weather's not right today, I don't have the right shoes, I don't know where the right clothes are to wear, oh, sleeping in sounds so much better. We find excuses whenever we do try something new. If we can get through that fear zone, we get to the learning zone where we're dealing with challenges and problems, where we're acquiring new skills, where we're actually extending our comfort zone. Yeah, folks, whenever we step through that fear zone and start really learning and practicing new things, we make our comfort zone bigger. We make our favorite chair better. Here's the thing. I play piano, not well. However, I'm okay enough to accompany my kids during solo ensemble every year. Now, every year they get better, and every year the songs, the accompaniment gets harder. And it tests me. And honestly, as soon as I get that music, all I see are all of these notes on a page in the key of, whoa, I don't want to play that key. And I'm right into that fear zone thinking I should hire someone else. I'm not good enough. Oh, this is going to be awful. I awfulize the whole thing. I start playing, I start plunking. It sounds clunky. It sounds actually hideous, folks. And eventually I get to that learning zone. Like, okay, maybe I don't have to play all the notes. Maybe I can figure out how I can fit, because I'm only the accompanist. I'm not the soloist. I need to make my soloist sound good. And once I reframe that, and once I start plunking and keep plunking, I actually get to that learning zone. Now, that growth zone, do I ever get to where I've found my purpose, I'm living my dreams, I'm setting new goals, and I'm conquering objectives? Not when I'm playing the piano. I can tell you I'm probably never 100% comfortable accompanying my kids. I'm still very nervous. I do know, though, that I can do an okay job. That growth zone, everyone, is a little bit rare. When we find our purpose and we're living our values and everything's clicking, that is that growth zone, and it is a beautiful spot. And whenever we get there, we might have some whole new goals and Maybe find some different things where we can connect with others. And I'm also going to let us all know it's rare, which is why it's that beautiful rainbow unicorn, because we don't see that very often. Now, how do you do this? How in the world do we say, okay, I'm going to get through this fear zone. I'm going to do this. Oh, this is where it's hard, because we need to be a little bit vulnerable. And I've grown up in the Midwest. I am very Midwest at heart. I will say hi to everyone on the street, and everyone who asks how I am, I'm either good or fine, right? I'm probably not going to show you if I'm having a bad day. I'm probably not going to show you where I might be struggling, because honestly, I want to edit what I show folks, kind of like this apple in the mirror. We have a tendency to show only the good parts of us, and we don't necessarily show those bruises or those bites that we have, like this apple. How do we maybe start getting vulnerable? Well, one, when we connect, if we have a good connection with someone who maybe shares our values or in a different way, and we can really talk and be really authentic. Oh, folks, if you have someone like that, where you can be absolutely vulnerable, and they have no problem with us, and they are with us either in those really amazing times or when we're sitting in the muck and are just struggling, that is an amazing connection. How do we work on being more vulnerable though? Because none of us were really raised to say, oh, I'm having a really hard day, or ooh, I need help. That, for me, is almost like speaking a different language. How can we work on this? In all honesty, we start with the F word, feelings. Feelings. And when we look at feelings, we can grow emotionally and socially because we can acknowledge our own feelings. We can express our feelings to others, and we can acknowledge the feelings of others. This sounds so simple. Oh, just say the feeling. It's going to be hard, isn't it? Because we have not very well practiced this. So just a couple examples. There was one day I was dropping one of my kiddos off at school, and we were having one of those mornings. And you can imagine the one of those mornings, right? Where everything's going wrong, everything's running late, we're just not meshing, everyone's tired, it's just going all awful. And so I drive her to school, and I'm dropping her off in that line, and then I'm going to drive to work, and of course it's kind of that sleety, yucky kind of day, and she wasn't having it, and I wasn't having it. And when she slammed that door, I swore she was going to say something not so kind to me. And I immediately started crying. Just whew. And I thought to myself, oh, I'm so overwhelmed. And in all honesty, it helped. Just saying, I am overwhelmed right now, helped me think of, okay, I've been overwhelmed before. I've gotten through that before. I know what's going on now. I have so much piled on top of my plate that I just am not quite sure how to deal with all of it. I'm overwhelmed. That one statement really helped. And then I can start figuring out what I need, maybe how to fix it, or just sit with, whoo, I'm overwhelmed right now, and figure some of that out and sit with it. Now, this also honestly works really well with other folks. The same child that I just talked about, I was picking her up from school one day after work. I went over, picked her up after a cross-country practice, and she had had one of those days that everything went wrong. It was not good. She had some dreams that she had completely dashed and taken away from her that day. And I knew this as I drove up. And when she got in the car, she had that stiff upper lip. She was trying so hard to be strong. And I just said, you must feel so disappointed. And she immediately started crying. And we just sat with that for a while. Now, in all honesty, I also drove her to the local drive-through stand, and we had some chili cheese fries at an A&W, and I maybe taught some bad skills at the same time. And we also sat with her feeling of disappointed, not trying to fix it, not trying to say, oh, everything's going to be okay. Because that moment, She needed to feel that disappointment and know that it was okay to be disappointed, and that it was okay that, oh, sometimes things just don't work out well. And it was some of the best social connection we had because I acknowledged those feelings and she saw that I saw her as a human, not just something to fix or to brush aside. So when we do that, when we look at someone else's feelings and acknowledge someone else's feelings, we're using that empathy, not the sympathy. The sympathy is what we often do when we attend funerals. When we go to funerals, we say, we're so sorry. We bring someone a casserole. We maybe help with the dinner after the funeral. We do different things like that because we feel terrible for the person. And at the same time, sympathy often doesn't breed that connection. We're like, oh, wow, that is horrible what happened to you. I'm so sorry. I don't want any part of it. I don't want to feel that hard with you. While empathy is more of that connection of, oh, I feel your pain too. And I'm trying to find something in myself that I can relate to so I understand where you are right now with your feelings. And that's hard because that means that we give some of ourselves to that other person to be with them while they're struggling, while they're feeling pain, while they are maybe not doing so well. So when we do this, we also need to really make sure our own self is balanced, or more what I like to say is harmony, because balance, it's not going to be even very often, is it? These two sunflowers kind of indicate what I'm talking about here. We have the sunflower on the left that's just starting to open. And honestly, sometimes we're right there, aren't we? We're just starting to open. Part of us is willing to maybe step forward and lean in and say, hey, how are you doing? I'm here for you. And the other part's like, ooh, I don't know if I have the capacity to do this right now. I'm not sure I'm ready to really step in. We get to make that decision. We get to have that boundary. If we're not ready to do something and we have a boundary, it is okay to keep that. Now again, I grew up in the Midwest. I will probably say yes to more things than I say no to. I tend to lean in a lot. And sometimes that leaning in and saying yes to everything is exhausting. So having those boundaries of I will do this, but I won't do this, I will do this, and I won't do that, that's very important for us. Because if we say, you know what, after 9 o'clock at night, I just am not great. I need to be by myself and go to bed, that's perfect. If in the morning you're like, oh yeah, you want to exercise in the morning and you want to do that with me and you want to do it well before the sun comes up, and if you're just not into it, it's good to have that boundary to know that. Sometimes it's good to get pushed a little too. So that sunflower on the right, see, sunflowers, from what I've heard, sunflowers, when they don't follow the sun, they turn toward each other. And sometimes what we can do to really connect is, even if the sun's not shining and we all have that guidance, we can turn towards another person and really look at, hey, how are you doing? And we can lean in and we can listen and we can help work with them and maybe empathize or just acknowledge those feelings. Now this goes a little bit into the NVC world, is what this says here, which is nonviolent communication. Now most of us know the world as the picture on the right. This maybe fox kind of animal there. We see something, we interpret it automatically. And instantly, as soon as we interpret it, we have a judgment about it. That doesn't foster any connection. And then we have a strategy and a demand. Think about when you're driving. Have a person who's either whizzing by you or going in front of you so slowly. We automatically interpret those, right? That speeding driver past us is obviously dangerous. I'm going to make that judgment right there. Oh, they're speeding, it was so dangerous. Or, oh, they're going so slowly. Come on, should they even have their driver's license anymore? I'm already judging. Might even look at it with maybe my kids. I get home, maybe the dishwasher's not emptied and I had asked them to do that this morning. I interpret, oh, my kids must be lazy today. Make that judgment, right? And immediately upon walking in the door, hey, you get this dishwasher emptied. I told you to do this morning. I demand something right away. I want this done. Let's go to the other side here. This giraffe kind of looking animal. First thing is we observe something. So let's take, for instance, our vehicles that are going either too fast or too slow. We observe, wow, that person's going really fast, or whew, this person's driving slower than I would like to right now. We figure out what our feeling is about it. You know, maybe if that person's going too fast, we're a little scared. Maybe if that person's going so slowly, maybe we're impatient. All of our feelings actually help us determine what we need. So for those of you who say, oh, their feelings, they're kind of squishy, I really don't like that, think of feelings then as data points for what we need. Because maybe my feeling, if I'm feeling a person's driving really fast and I'm feeling a little scared, maybe my need is some safety. And maybe I need to just back off from that person going too fast. If my need, or if my feeling is impatient with that person who's going very slowly in front of me, maybe my need is I'm feeling rushed or hurried, or I need to get somewhere, then I can figure things out. Then I can make that request. So maybe if that person's going slowly, maybe I figure out a different route. If I take the situation with my kids in the dishwasher, okay, I see the dishes are still sitting right there in the dishwasher. My feeling might be a little bit irritated, maybe a little bit overwhelmed, because what I need is help, right? Sometimes we have our houses and our jobs and our connections and all of these things, so I need help, you know, doing some of the household chores. When I come at it with feelings and needs, then I can make a request instead of a demand. And that often goes over much better, particularly when I think of, okay, what might their feelings be with this dishwasher? And with those feelings, what might their needs be? Maybe they had a tough day at school. Maybe they all worked all day. Maybe all of these different things happened and maybe they're tired or exhausted, or maybe they're overwhelmed. What are their needs? That request then can be a discussion rather than that demand. And when we do that, we get that connection. So let's practice this. So right now, how are you feeling? And I don't want to hear fine. I can hear it through the video. What I'd like you to really think about is just take a breath, take a few seconds. How are you feeling right now? And let's just practice this a little more with what you're feeling right now. What might you be needing right now? Oftentimes, like I said, those feelings are data points showing us what we need or what is being fulfilled. So if we're satisfied or happy or okay, we're like, hey, right now I'm learning something, I'm feeling okay with that, I enjoy this, let's keep maintaining, right? If we have some feelings that maybe, I'm overwhelmed, I'm irritated, I'm bored, I'm impatient, then we can look at, okay, what are we needing? The thing is, anger often shows us what we feel we need to fight for. Sadness or grief often shows us what we're missing. So all of those different feelings come with a variety of different needs. So however you're feeling right now, what might you need to either maintain that feeling? What might you need to come and work through that feeling? Let's try this one more time. Think of a situation that maybe you're dealing with right now, that you're maybe not quite sure how to cope with. And we're going to try just a slightly different way. So think of a time, or right now, think of some kind of situation that you're going through that you're like, ugh, I'm just not having this. And think about that situation. So for instance, for me, it might be figuring out how to schedule all of the different things that I have said yes to. My feeling about that? A little anxious, frankly. What is your feeling about your situation? And now, with that feeling, what is the need that that feeling is bringing? So here you have your situation. You have your feeling about the situation. What might you need because of that feeling? So me, I'm a little bit anxious about all of these things that I said yes to that I need to look at scheduling. Ooh, maybe I need some structure. Maybe I need some more balance. Maybe I need some assistance in not overscheduling myself. Now we can look at, okay, what can I do to move through this? So for you, when you're connecting your feelings and needs, is you can think of, okay, when I feel, every feeling, I need this. When I'm feeling anxious, I need support. When I feel angry, I need space. When I feel sad, I need someone to sit with me. When I feel angry, I need to blow off steam. Whatever those are, it's for you. And whatever fits you is what you want to be doing. So when I feel whatever way, here is what I need. So to start wrapping us up, who are you going to connect with today? Sometimes it can be really hard, particularly after being a little bit different in how we've lived for the last year and almost a half, is we've connected very differently. A lot on camera, a lot on the phone, a lot, maybe we stopped having some friendships because we were being very different in how we were connecting with people. Who are you going to connect with today? Either a phone call, maybe a short text, maybe it's a get together and have coffee. Couple resources for you if you want to learn more. There is the Dare to Lead Hub by Brene Brown, who talks a lot about empathy and vulnerability. There's also Nonviolent Communication. And you can check out your local extension offices for either the We Cope program, for AMP, the Aging Mastery program, and coming soon, Compassion Resilience. Some different resources that we used for this presentation in particular come from Brene Brown, come from Dr. Kim, come from Nonviolent Communication, and come from really trying to connect with others in different ways. So if you have any questions, you can most certainly reach out to your local extension office and see what programs they have or different things like that. Or you, of course, could also email me at heatherquackenboss@wisc.edu. I thank you so much for listening to the 8 Ways to Wellness, Discover the Dimensions for a Healthier You, the social well-being component. Have a beautiful day and keep connecting.